Right. Now, very sadly though, that was an accident that occurred here quite often, and plenty of diggers were killed by accidents like that occurring. Perhaps concerned about the loss of all of his customers for horrible accidents like that occurring, there was an unknown Ballarat blacksmith went and invented this thing here. It's called a safety hook. It was invented right here on the Ballarat goldfields. The way that works, you take your chain, slip it on there like that, slip it like that. There's absolutely no danger that chain's going to accidentally slip off of there anytime soon. And that very simple invention doubtless saved countless lives here on the Ballarat. Quite an amazing thing. Anyway, back to working this hook. So like I was saying, next thing I need to do is get this bend into the hook. Now I could shape it up around the beak or the horn of the anvil here like this. Ding, ding, ding. Flip it around and go ding, dong, ding on the other side. And it might turn out perfect first time, but it might not. It might need what we call a bit of minor adjustment. Now what minor adjustment really means, that means I need to take the piece, throw it back into the forge again, get back on the bellows, so I'm wasting energy, I'm wasting fuel, I'm wasting precious time. There's a much simpler way of doing things. Now one of the beauties of being a blacksmith, we don't like to make life too difficult for ourselves if we can help it. And if we're making lots of the same, hundreds and hundreds of the same thing over and over all day long, we often how we think about it, and we'll invent ourselves a tool to help us do the job a bit more efficiently, and then we'll make that tool. So this is an example of such a thing. This thing's called a jig. Alright, homemade. It's called a jig, and this particular jig is the right size for bending these hooks around. So, it's got a square shank on the bottom of it. That square shank fits into the square hole in the anvil here, called the hardy hole. Should be called the handy hole really, because all the different tools and things that can go in there, we put things like that in it. There's a form for, see the scrolls in the kitchen hanger, that's for making them all the same, you know, for uniform. Got a bending fork goes in there, we bend bits of metal around that. It's just lots and lots of jigs for little hooks, medium-sized hooks, all sorts of things. It's just the ones that I use every day. You've got shelves and shelves over there of them. So yeah, very useful indeed. I'm just going to put this bend in. It's almost hot to go.
Look at him go. He's making something.
So the blacksmith would be regarded as a fairly important person in the community. And I don't mean that as in the blacksmith is swaggering about town going, I'm the blacksmith. I'm the most important guy in town. But because of the fact that the blacksmith makes and repairs all the tools for all the other tradesmen. And so in that respect, the blacksmith is fairly important. Now, if you did a good job as a blacksmith here on the Cove, if you did a good job and worked hard, it would be unheard of for a blacksmith to be making anywhere up to and beyond £200 in a year. It doesn't sound very much, but I mean when you can consider that someone like a farm labourer would be lucky to be making £20 in a year, you know, you're doing not bad. Probably a good reason why Smith is one of the most common surnames around, because the old blacksmith, you can afford to raise a big family and feed all those hungry mouths, because he's making lots and lots of money. Right. And that's generally been a family business, the blacksmith, so the skills and the knowledge, and the tools and the equipment would be handed down from one generation to the next, and so on and so forth. Now, it wouldn't matter at all whether that next generation happened to be sons or daughters, as long as they were capable of learning all the skills involved. I mean, they'd be spending all their days in the smithy right through childhood. There's actually many instances of lady blacksmiths stretching all the way back. In fact, there's some very famous lady blacksmiths throughout history. So it's not a strictly male occupation. If the old smithy had to suddenly keel over, then quite often what would happen is his widow would take on and run into the business with all the family and just keep trying to provide for all the family. I'd say that, talking about keeling over, their general blacksmith would be working from 6 in the morning till 6 at night, 6 days a week. Generally wouldn't work on a Sunday or the Sabbath day. That was quite widely observed, day of rest. Quite widely observed here on the goldfields. The diggers, they wouldn't even dig for gold on a Sunday. It was quite taboo to be doing stuff like that, right? So, All I need to do is basically the same on the other side, folks. If anyone needs to go anywhere else, I do babble on a wee bit. I'll try and finish this as quick as I can.